Hi, I'm Rachael-Jayne Groover, and this is Spiritual and Successful. This episode is a little different. We're going to show you behind the show, why we are doing this, and the impact that you can expect every week. You're going to see entrepreneurs, leaders, change makers who want to make a positive difference be coached through their toughest inner challenges in their wealth, health, love, relationships, their inner talk, and their limiting patterns and beliefs. And some weeks you're going to see me being coached. And if you're committed to your personal development and excited to have an elevated conversation on spiritual awakening, human potential, entrepreneurship, leadership, you are exactly in the right place. When I was young, I actually thought I might become a nun. The convent down the road looked so inviting to me somehow, and I've always been drawn to the spiritual. But my mind has also been criticizing, comparing, fearful, doubting what I could really do, and my ambitious streak has been really strong. With my career at first, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to save the world or entertain it. I actually started psychology and a degree in social work, but it was really too heavy of energy for me to enjoy. And what really lit me up was performing, moving people emotionally. Still in Australia, I became a singer, and I dreamt of moving to the US to become the female version of Keith Urban, to follow in his sexy footsteps. In 1999, I went to my first Tony Robbins event. I walked over those hot coals, I walked on fire, I clenched my fist, I broke through my fear, and more importantly, I experienced the power of the body-brain connection for the first time. When I clenched that fist, I felt like I could do anything. I remember driving around town after it, and if there would be a limiting thought come into my mind, I would just do my power move, and I felt like I was on top of the world. But when I burnt my feet on that second firewalk, I realized it was way more than just goals and targets and breakthroughs of your fear and challenges. It was about something else, about surrender, vulnerability, the willingness to let go of control. I started studying Gary Zukav's Seat of the Soul. I would have read that thing 20 times at least in a year. And next was Debbie Ford's Dark Side of the Light Chasers. And then after that was Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with Gods. I mean, it was all just so new to me at that time. And I was watching Oprah all the time. Every time she'd have a spiritual guru on TV, I'd be like, this is the best thing ever. And I found myself starting to think and dream of, maybe I could be in this spiritual industry in some way, or maybe run retreats in some small way. I finally traveled to the US in search for a community like me. I couldn't find that in Australia at that time. And I was also searching for love. Love had eluded me. I got here, and instead of that, I found loneliness, heartbreak, disappointment, and the humble realization that awakening is not always blissful. Awakening is the unwinding of everything that you thought was certain. It's about going towards that fear that has somehow refused to surrender. Over time, more mentors, more books, spiritual teachers, Enneagram teachers, everything I could get my hands on as far as personal development, and then of course YouTube University. Ken Wilber's work and the integral theory, spiral dynamics was very formative to my work. It's a clear map. These are all clear maps to how higher consciousness works and how we can evolve consciously in ourselves and the teams that we work with. My spiritual teachings are integral because spiritual awakening is not about finding something, it's about unwinding something, unwinding the contractions of your mind, the conclusions of your mind, the contractions in your heart and your emotions, the closure in your physical body and your somatic experience, and clearing the subtle body and energy field. But awakening isn't just personal. I wanted to express it into the world. I wanted to be a success. I wanted to be a successful teacher and coach, and dare I say, speaker, which terrified me, actually. I could sing to 40,000 people, but when I spoke to 10, then came Toastmasters, because I had to get over my fear. And I felt sick to my stomach every time before like a 5 to 7 minute speech. But internally, I knew, I could hear this voice saying, this matters. And after a while, I realized I had a talent for speaking, and I loved coaching people through their biggest challenges. And so I started to think maybe I could make a living or a career out of this, or at least a side hobby business helping people. And at the same time, I started working for Neale Donald Walsch, who wrote the Conversations with God books. And there I am traveling with this guy in this industry. And I learned, what does it take to become an author, a speaker, a retreat facilitator? All the while not thinking that this is exactly what I would be doing in a few years. Day one of my full-time business. Terror, confusion. I launched programs before they were ready. I made so many mistakes. I couldn't afford basic expenses. I didn't know what I was doing. I hurt my back really, really badly. This was the worst time of my life, and the best, because I met and connected with the love of my life, Data Groover, who you will meet at one of these episodes coming up in Spiritual and Successful. Enter the marketing gurus, the business coaches, and YouTube University again. I am throwing spaghetti at the wall as fast as I can to figure this thing out, and it wasn't really working. I just wanted to cover my expenses and do something that I loved. So what changed? Everything. And I am going to lay it out for you in the episodes of Spiritual and Successful. I'm going to show you how I changed the way I promoted myself, the way I led a team, the way I became an Inc. 5000 CEO, all the while not burning out, having an amazing relationship, finding an unshakable inner peace, and I want to show you it all to support you in doing the same. Data and I built the Awaken School. I wrote 3 best-selling books, became a TEDx speaker, sold $30 million from stages, bought Casa Sagrada, our retreat center, and she is going to be the backdrop for every episode of Spiritual and Successful. Success leaves clues, and I am going to drop them every episode of Spiritual and Successful. Why this show and why now? Because I've seen so many leaders, executives, entrepreneurs, change makers want to make a positive difference. They want to have it all in all areas of their life, but they're either playing small, having doubt, they're not looking at things that they need to look at, avoiding some part of their inner work. And so some have their professional life going amazing, but their home life is suffering. And some others that you'll see in these episodes are doing all the spiritual practices. They're doing amazing inner work, but they still struggle at making the income, the wealth, and doing the career that they really, really love. That's why I created Spiritual and Successful. Each week, you're going to see someone sit here in the coaching chair, and we're going to have a raw and honest coaching session about what stops them from what I call living the have it all lifestyle, having every area work. And then I'm going to give them a challenge for the next 14 days, because it's not just about a conversation here. It's, does the transformation last? Does it stick when the cameras are off? And you get a front seat to watch what happens to them and to you if you take the practices and tools and resources that I offer. If you feel like something's missing or something's not flowing as easily as you know it could, this show is for you. If you love stretching into your next level personal growth and professional growth, this is for you. And if you are committed to your spiritual awakening and living an embodied inner peace life, this is for you. When you are spiritual and successful, not only your own life changes, but you get to support everyone around you. So go ahead and click subscribe and comment below. What is the transformation that you want to see for yourself? Maybe you'll be in the coaching chair one day. And if you have been watching this video so far, you probably like this video. So go ahead and click like for me. And finally, be sure that you are subscribed to the Awakened Life newsletter. This is how you'll get notified of each episode as it comes out. And you'll also receive my legendary life hacks, resources, tools, coaching questions on how to live an awakened life. The Awakened Life newsletter is really a success guide for spiritual explorers. So I'll put the link in the description. And now onto the show. Click any spiritual and successful episode that nudges you to watch. You know those nudges? Your divine partner saying, this is for you. It's exactly what you need next. So go ahead and click on which one draws you, and we'll see you in the next show.